Hi, lady.
Hello.
Hi. It seems that I have a little problem with my Skype on my computer.
Oh,
How's the sound right now? Because I'm off my phone, from my phone.
how's the sound, guys? I can hear you perfectly. I'm not sure how the stream is picking you up.
Okay, guys, could you please let us know? Oh,
Ah,
okay.
yep.
Sounds good, looks good. Awesome. So, hi, everybody. Hi, lady.
Hi.
Hey, I wanted to, I just overheard you guys were talking about leveling up and uh, fish bite ratio. There's one simple problem that the higher level player is he's going for more advanced fish. So let's say when you felt that you were catching a lot of fish when you were level 5 or level 10, don't forget you were fishing for gibel carps, for crucian carps, roaches, and they are still there. So basically, if you go back to the same lake you were fishing when you were level 5 or level 10, you'll actually be fishing way more efficiently because you already went through some skill points in your trees. You have better equipment and stuff like that. But that feeling that you don't catch an same amount of fish as you did is based because you're comparing different species. You're moving to different lakes. There, you can't expect, let's say, Atlantic salmon to bite at a rate of a common roach. So that's most of the problems in thinking that there's less fish or poor bite ratio.
Okay. Jean, can you tell us about why we put traveling costs back into the game? That's a question that's been on a lot of people's minds today.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we've seen as much as we really wanted to have the travel cost removed, and we did. We thought to make game time for our players more enjoyable, easier. But unfortunately, this how long was it? About a week and a
Yeah.
half without travel costs. It really became a problem, especially for low level and mid level players. Uh, just to give you, let's say, an easy example, someone who's just starting up a game, let's say all the stores on low level lakes, they have a different priorities of what they stocked with. Obviously, the prices are lower there. And once we removed travel cost, people stopped considering how much it's going to cost them to go to a lower level lake, buy equipment, buy baits, or whatever else they need, buy food at a lower cost because they don't have to pay to actually get there. So it makes sense for a higher level player to go to, let's say, Winding Rivulet or to Mosquito Lake and buy whatever he needs because it is cheaper, but it's cheaper not for the higher level players, but for lower level players. And by doing that, unfortunately, our players that needed to progress further into the game, they basically ended up without anything that they can use to progress. Most needed tackle was gone from the stores. Most needed baits were gone from the stores, just because you don't need to think anymore to go and get it. That because you don't have to pay for it. So and higher level players obviously they have more silver, they have more means, they buy a lot. So that's one of the examples. and actually the whole game structure is set in such a way that the person has to progress from one level to another, from one water body to another, from easier species to catch and fight to a harder species.
Oh, Gene, you're breaking up here.
Oh. Hello.
Hello. There you are again.
Am I back? Yeah, I've been having internet problems for the past week, probably, not more. So I hope just by giving the simple example, our players will understand why we rolled back in travel prices. Just believe us, we really didn't want to, but it was a mistake on our part to take it out.
Could you not, I'm playing devil's advocate here, could you not simply like put a maximum level at which one can purchase some of the sack gear and baits and whatnot that you just said? Like say put a max level cap, only players level 10 or up to level 10 can purchase at Mosquito and deal with the issue that way?
We might work around it in the future, but as of right now, we were completely unprepared for what happened. So yes, the idea of taking the travel cost, it's not what we did today. It's not the end of it. We'll try to work around it. Maybe what you said, maybe we'll come up with something else. But at the moment, we had to put a stop to this situation, and that was the only way how we could do that fast. So basically, we just flipped the switch back on without putting any man hours into it. But we will think about it. The idea of free travel, it's a good idea. We like it, but we have to work around it in game first.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is we will address the issue with other means, but currently we have to do a rollback because there are no other means.
Yes, absolutely. It is being addressed. We are thinking on how to get rid of the travel cost. It just at the moment, we don't have any other means to do that.
And players are now giving their ideas.
Yeah, we're lady. You know, we're always open for ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you think you have a good idea, please come to our forum and share it. We are going through each and every one of them, and there are a lot of things that we actually discuss. Yeah. So don't be shy. I'm actually talking to viewers. I know you're on the forum almost 24/7.
The ideas that they're giving now about traffic costs, it's hard to create tournaments. For example, create one at Kori, so that gives like 25 silver for travel. Then if they put like 25 entry fee, that's 50 silver for someone. So basically what they're saying is currently travel costs do impact competitions a lot because people will no longer join.
Absolutely, we know that. As I just mentioned, we will look for some sort of resolution for it.
Yeah. Now, other advices are giving is maybe put a maximum of how much someone can buy, so that people don't stockpile, and you actually have bait that is still in stock in shops.
We really don't like the idea of limiting our players in whatever they want to do beyond the needed things that they need to be limited. So we've come back to that idea a few times. A few times we had actually pretty heated debates about it. But at the moment, we still we think that it's a bad idea. It would be a bad idea on our part not to to limit players in terms of what they can buy and how much of it they can buy.
Yeah. Frankie, Gene, can you tell if we nerf fish, as in remove them from lakes and not announce it? Oh, hang on there. Let me turn off sound effects. Sorry there, Unu. Sound effects are being off because currently we have Gene with us and he's explaining some things. Do we ever nerf fish, Gene, or remove fish from lakes without announcing it?
We never nerfed or removed the fish.
Have we done so in the past, what is it, 2-3 months, Frankie?
No. The last time something was nerfed, that was over 5 months ago. It was how much eels were giving out experience and how much silver bleaks were giving out.
Yeah.
That was all 5 months ago. That's the last time we touched a fish species.
Did we add anything?
No, we don't. Every single patch that comes out, all the information that if we change anything, if we add anything, if we fix anything, we list everything we do.
Is the answer enough for you, Frankie? Because I know you asked me and you stated to me multiple times that you believe fish were being removed or nerfed. And I told you over and over again I wasn't. Do you take Gene's answer for truth then, over me? No, Frankie was talking about nerfing fish, but the same applies to nerfing bite rates.
No, we didn't touch anything. As I said, last time we touched an existent fish was over 5 months ago. It was eel, and that was bleak, because both of them were way too overpowering, especially bleak for lower level players. And we kept bleak with the we didn't touch the experience. We just took away a little bit in terms of the how much it costs when you sell it. And with eel, we did the other way around. We took a little bit of experience off of it and left the price.
Okay, the Burning Star. So why is it that we always catch less fish after every patch?
Because at the moment, every time we restart the server, basically the whole Russian fishing world resets. So the preference of fish preferences, fish behavior, and fish locations that you got used to in the prior days to a restart changes most of the times. Not all the time, not for all the species, but mostly it does. So it probably will take you a couple of hours, depending on how much time you spend in the game, to just find where that fish moved. Once again, weather resets, all the conditions are resets to basically zero and starts up again.
Pro Gaming, you ask about adding fish pellets in the future, and Ambiguous, you ask about adding new rods, reels. Yes, those will be added in the future. New types of bait, new rods, new reels. We cannot give any ETA on it. As for specific fish pellets, I cannot say, buddy. Astrophic wonders, the Russian server has bigger fish than we have. Is that correct?
No, that's incorrect. Everything is the same between Russian, English, and German servers. Actually, even stockpile of the stores are the same. So whenever you have a problem with buying cheese, most likely that problem comes from Russian servers. Now, the difference is that on Russian servers there are tens of thousands of players, and the rate at which they catch bigger fish is higher than, let's say, on our service, where we have just a couple of thousand players. So yeah, they come across basically a bigger fish more often, just because there are like in many times more players on that server. But everything is the same. Actually, weather and time in game, looking at a player playing on a Russian, on English version, you'd be sitting in the same conditions, at the same place, with the same at the same time, with the same temperature, winds, and so on. Plus minus maybe a couple of minutes difference because of the how far we are from them.
And sorry, Gene broke up there a couple of seconds. What he said is that everything is the same. Weather conditions, temperature, time, plus take a couple of minutes. But other than that, everything is the exact same. Let's see. Marvin, why have ground bait in the game when it hit and miss? Ground bait should help. You mean when you use ground bait and it's not working, Marv? It could be because the weather conditions, for instance, are completely wrong for that fish. There's even if you throw in ground bait, it might not work. And Ulfer, you like an answer to the map question. Some improvements will be great. For instance, details on location, rideable maps where you could make notes on. Or maybe a map on the wall of a tackle shop with users' best catches. They choose to share it. Ulfer, in the future we will definitely adjust maps, buddy. I'll definitely do that.
I can actually probably speak a little more on that topic. We already working. We started working on a new version of the map, better, more. Probably not interactive, but more informative. We started working that about 2 weeks ago. So most likely we'll see a new map very soon.
Okay. What about the bite rate of trophy fish? If we are max skilled on unrelated skills, then should we be able to catch more trophies rather than just a single trophy a week?
No. Trophy fish, you actually have to hunt for it. They have somewhat different priorities. They may occupy different spots than most common fish of that species. Oh, I apologize. So if you are going after trophy fish in of some sort of species, you have to actually learn their behavior, as it could be different from the majority of fish in that species.
Hemi says the community has complained about the stock problems for months, but now all of a sudden the problem was travel costs removed. It seems like our folk community is getting played for a bunch of fools. We don't play you for a bunch of fools, Hemi, not at all, buddy. As it just was explained by Gene, is that removing the travel costs, even though we wanted to have it proved to turn up the economy so badly, whereas high-level players would go to the lower-level lakes and purchase everything there, which in return would leave the low-level players with nothing. That for the time being, because we lack any other means, for the time being we had to put travel costs back in. We will work on it. So in the future we hope to remove travel fees again, but then have other means in place so we can prevent that from happening, as what happened now in the past 7 days. Let's see.
Also, please don't forget that I just provided one example of how it was hurting players in the game and game balance and economy. There are way more problems that we encountered that it will take me probably. Actually, I'll need to bring some more guys to explain that. I just showed one example of many. Let's take back 2 weeks ago when we applied that free travel. Why did we do it? No one asked us to do it. We wanted to do this for the community, Hemi. And we did it. It was a mistake. and we do apologize for it, that we had to come back to it. So please don't think that we don't respect or don't love our community. We love each and every player, and we're trying to make this game for you guys.
What about the repair costs? Is there any plan into lowering them, or have it? No, just is there any plan on lowering them?
Okay, technically, I'm not in liberty to talk about it as of yet, but let's say I'll mention there are works in place right now that will affect how we repair in near future. Was I as vague as I could?
Yes. Yeah. Well, one of the things, because we already did address that and spoke about that, one of the things that we will see in the future is that you will be able to use all parts on your old gear and use that to repair your current gear. That's something that we already told you guys, was it already a couple of months ago. And I know it's not helping you guys right now. I know that currently it's not been implemented into the game. And I know it's not the answer that you guys are seeking. But that is something that you guys can look forward to. What about stock replenishments? I've never had the chance to buy cheese since I started, is what Mr. Rain says.
What level are you, Mr. Rain, in game? Because to be honest with you, I never had a problem purchasing cheese on Kaori or on Volkhov.
Yeah, not on Kaori or Volkhov, but on Winding River and on Mosquito Lake, it's been out of stock. Like the moment it restocks, it's out of stock again in 5 minutes. Then players have to wait another week or 2 weeks.
There is a reason why lower level water bodies are supplied with less baits such as cheese, potatoes, because whenever a new player progresses to a new water body, they are not equipped to fish with those baits. It'll hurt them a lot. How many players moved to Old Berg and started fishing with cheese and had their reels and rods broken by, let's say, a black carp or something like that? Because those lakes, those water bodies already have fish bigger than the lower level player has equipment for. So the idea behind it is you move to a new water body with the equipment from the previous water body. Use, let's say, worms, maggots, something small that catches you a little smaller fish. But since there are new fish introduced already, once you move to a newer water body, make your bank, go equip yourself, and then use already different baits that will attract bigger fish. So you don't hurt yourself by jumping right away into fishing with a 8-kilogram pole for black carp.
Let's see. Why are the tackle store prices the same while repair costs fluctuates? That's what Pindo wonders.
I'm sorry, again?
the prices of gear in the store, and yes, I caught a tench. Sorry, weird fishing tench on Cottage Pond. I caught the first one.
Congratulations. Why tackle store prices still always the same?
Why are they the same and repair costs fluctuate?
Yes, that's not entirely true, Pinzo. Everything fluctuates in the game. Prices, depending where you are, which water body you are, how much of tackle is being bought out, how much been restocked. Same thing with the repair shops. What do they have? What do they don't have? If you're repairing or you're replacing, there's a lot of things that play part in that. I should probably also mention that even when you sell fish, you could sell it cheaper yesterday and at a higher price today, depending on how much of that species was sold prior to you showing up at the fish market.
Cheese was very good for tench until they changed their preferred baits. Burning Star, we didn't change the preferred baits, buddy. Cheese is one of the baits that works for tench, but it's not like the preferred bait. I actually caught most of my tenches on casters. Why limit the tackle in the stores, and how are you guys planning on solving the problem with the influx of players that will be coming towards Steam once it gets released?
Hey, Armstrong, why limit the tackle in the stores? Because we still will have more options for a player in terms of crafting in the future in the game, and limiting stores will boost players towards crafting their own materials, their own tackle in the future. I didn't understand the part of the part about the Steam though.
Well, he reckons that when we launch at Steam, there will be such a huge influx of new players coming towards it. The stores will be even faster out of stock than they are currently.
Well, first of all, by that time, the games we hope will develop the game much further, much deeper. And if we'll run into some sort of problem, or we'll think we're gonna have to, we'll have to run into a problem, we'll adjust. We're not gonna change the philosophy of the game. We can just adjust a little bit towards one or the other side. How are you making money? We work. Hard, long work.
Armstrong Jr. says, so to make them, the baits, craft bait, and then use an RNG-based system to get bait to fish with. Is that a good idea? You think you're meaning that a bit sarcastic? Oh, what's that? MQ, this isn't the only game that we have, buddy. We have more games.
I'm still trying to understand the Armstrong's question. Armstrong, if you don't mind, could you please elaborate on your question? Uni, can we get a section for trading? Unfortunately, we as a company cannot be behind anything of that, because not every player is an honest player. We cannot guarantee the safety of the transaction as it is being done right now, because this is not an exchange. It's just a give-receive type of thing at the moment. We will introduce trading exchanges and auctions, hopefully sooner than later, and then you'll be able to properly trade, sell, buy stuff in game.
Early on, I got the suggestion. Could we have that you can save your login automatically when you start up the game, and also when you log out of the game, would it be possible to have the game go back to the main menu instead of having to shut down the game then start up again because you want to switch accounts?
Okay, to the first part about storing passwords, there is a reason we're not doing that. It's a safety reason, and most likely we will not do that. And the second part was to log off to
Now, if you want to switch accounts, you have to quit the game, start it up again, and then log in with your second account.
Oh, yes. We have this on our to-do list, but since it's not as critical as many other things that we still need to do, it's been pushed back. Eventually, we will do that. I can't say when, or I can't even say if it's going to be in the near future.
Okay. Did we change the buzzer at the end of competition? Now I just heard a very loud beep, and that was it.
Might be, lady, I haven't had a time to actually play a single minute yet after the after the update.
Okay.
So might be that was an annoying sound.
Well, this one is even more. I find this one more annoying actually. It's
Yeah.
just beep. Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on saved setup for rods? For example, set it up for casting lures and a jig setup on the same pole with the ability to switch faster between the two. Plumnasty, can you elaborate that one a bit more? Let's see, Commander Jorge wonders, when it comes out on Steam, will we be able to use Steam money for Golden Premium? Or do we still need to use the R4 website?
Okay, we are developing an in-game store, so you won't need to go to our R4 site to make your purchases. Plus, we're changing a little bit how players will be acquiring Golden Premium. We'll see once those changes kick in. I'll be able to answer that question better.
Okay. Why can we not repair stuff when we are not online?
As Catchy said that, I think it was Catchy. I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't Catchy. One of the streamers, I think, said that, listen, guys, you are putting wear on your gear and your tackle when you're in game. So it can be repaired also while you're in game. But that's, all jokes aside, that's a game mechanic. You need to be in game. So basically, when you log out, your repair guy goes home too. Let's put it this way.
Okay, Armstrong goes back to his question. Current bait crafting is based on a random number generator. For example, if I need worms, I use a shovel, which works sometimes, and other times it does not work. And then he says to bring that as a main way of getting bait. By the way, guys, those in competition, no worry, we'll get to the prizes in a bit.
Okay, to answer that question, each bait has its, how do I say that? Something is more rare than other things. So let's say if you're just digging for worms, they're everywhere. Something like, let's say, bloodworms, their getting percentage is a little lower, but because their in-game price, I don't mean like silver or anything, their importance in game is higher. That's why the percentage of getting it is a little lower, and so on up until you get to whatever else you can harvest. When we, let's say, if we switch to crafting baits and lures, there already there's a different formula kicks in. The more experienced player in crafting, the better and more often he will craft a good bait or lure. And plus you need to spend skill points there, don't forget about it. That will reflect how you craft also the ground bait.
Pindo, crafting pearl barley, it's not just opening up the package, you actually are grinding it. Same with like bread, the loaf of bread, you actually add water to it. Doing it too much, or with pearl barley for instance, it's a mechanic that goes on behind the scenes, you don't see it, but you can actually feel.
Yeah, basically you're cooking. The process, look at it as cooking. And sometimes we can screw up a simple thing as frying an egg. Though you did it 1,000 times before, but something happened today, it just didn't go well for you. And it doesn't taste good. So same thing with this, just approach it as cooking. Sometimes we fail.
Okay, let's see. Was it, Argosy and Leaf both wonder if we can get like a box or storage that we can store our old stuff in, that we do not need in the future. Let's see. Take it out of our inventory so we don't constantly scrolling through.
I'll generalize that if you don't mind, Liddy. We are working on a number of storage problems that we hoping will make it easier for players to manipulate, to store, to choose their equipment, their lures, their baits, and stuff like that. It is in the works. We're just finding, we're trying to find the best solution, most comfortable solution, and of course, a good-looking solution. We don't want to just roll out something that we'll have to, let's say, redo in 2 or 3 months because it's either uncomfortable or unusable or looks bad. But we are working on that.
Burning Star is replying, sorry, but the reason for not being able to repair stuff offline is he doesn't find it satisfactory. Burning Star, like we said earlier also, we are still working on the repair system. It will get better in the future. Having that said, we do stick with not being able to repair when you're offline. For me, my own personal reasoning is if you do not play in the game, you cannot get benefits from it. The moment you quit it, you quit the game and you forfeit all your rights to any benefit that you might have while you are offline. And it might sound a bit harsher than what just Gene just said, the prayer guy goes home. But that's basically what it comes down to. And I know it's not the answer that you like to hear, buddy. I know that. That's fine. But that is our point of view on it. Armstrong says, but by limiting the shops you force us to spend gold or rely on RNG to get a bait.
Well, I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm trying to look for it in chat.
By limiting shops, as in what they have in stock. Armstrong feels he's either forced to spend gold, real life money, or to rely on RNG for gathering bait. So, say for instance, night crawlers are out of stock. You either have to spend gold to get night crawlers, or you're forced on scooping them, but then there's this whole RNG system and you fail.
All right, Armstrong, the whole idea, once again, lies in us pushing players into crafting, because crafting is going to develop a lot more than you see it right now. So we want players to start crafting their own stuff, because eventually you'll be cooking for yourself, you'll be fixing your own gear, and this is going to be a part. And not only that, these are just the types of things that I can talk right now. In the future, this is going to be much, much, much wider than you can imagine at this moment. So crafting is going to be a huge part of Russian Fishing 4.
Burning Star, he earlier gave the comment about not being satisfied about repair, not being able to do it offline. And his next argument is premium also doesn't stop when I'm offline. So why then does repair stop?
Burning Star, let me put it once again, most likely you're not going to take that answer. But we cannot satisfy 100% of people who come across our game. We have our own design, our philosophy, our motives to do one thing or another, this way or other way. Believe me, they are all thought through hard. We have over a decade of experience making those decisions. There's always a reason why something is this way and something is that way. If there is a way for us to change something in a game that it will not affect the whole game itself, and we can make it more comfortable for our guys, we will always do it. So I guess that's that.
Okay, let's see. Can you explain to us how it works, the market fluctuation, because currently it's foggy for a lot of us?
Which market? The store items or fish market where you sell the fish?
Store items.
Store items.
And say repair shop as well.
Okay, first of all, it depends on which water body the store or repair shop is. If it's, let's say, a Winding Rivulet, this is basically not even a town. It's a little village, God knows where. They're restocking cheapest parts, not as often, not as much, because let's say basically in a village they don't have enough people to buy a lot. When we move to, let's say, Volkhov, which is next to a big town or almost a city, they have a bigger selection, but the price go a little bit higher. Their repair shop is better. Their repair guy is better. The mechanic, or how do you call it?
Yeah, the repair guy. Okay, are we looking at adding semi-controller support using feedback triggers to use on spin fishing, similar to other fishing games? Because it gives a great sense of immersion.
I'm sorry, what?
For instance, when you have like PlayStation and you're being attacked, the controller shakes. Can we have something like that? Say a fish bites or a fish fights when we're having controller support.
Probably at a time when we'll move to consoles, because and actually, to be honest with you, at this part, if we move to consoles, at the moment, RF4 is being designed and developed solely for Windows. In the future, we might start looking into moving to consoles, and then yes, absolutely, we'll be implementing something like that.
How often are the stores restocked?
To be honest with you, nobody knows. There is a script, it works on its own, depending on the store, depending how much was bought out, how much is left, how many people bought this and that throughout some time segment. It's basically at random. Or when we restart the server within the first couple of hours.
Can we get a raincoat? MQ, we will provide more variables in the future, buddy.
Yes, there will be equipment, variable equipment in the game also. Absolutely.
Can we please add the possibility to change movement keys for SD keyboard users? That's a question that's been asked also a lot on forums. Most of the French players and the Belgian players, they use SD instead of QWERTY keyboards.
Mm-hmm. Could you remind me, don't we have an option to set additional keys for movement?
No, not for movement.
No.
Those are fixed.
All right. I need to, yes, I'll absolutely bring it up to the guys. Just a second, let me write it down.
Does any of you guys have any other questions? As for the competition goes, I was the only one catching Tench. Sanford, GLK, Sport Officer, Maliniak, Knack, and MQG. I'm going to set up a random generator and pick 3 names out of that. Give me a second. I'll do that, and then we'll determine the winners from that one. Let's see. Can we expect New Lakes Rivers before this game hits Steam? It's a question asked.
If I were a betting man, I'd probably bet on yes.
Now, I play poker and I'd say yes.
Right,
you almost got a royal flush there.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I know today it wasn't really scheduled for us. So
yeah.
If you have any more questions, please shoot them now, because I have about like 5 to 10 minutes left.
Govik, in de toekomst komen dat soort dingen in het spel. When is this game going to Steam? End of May is when that's what we're aiming for, Chuck. End of May. I think in the video it says the 30th of May. Obviously that is like give or take, because there can always be problems. When is the next gold sale? I need big shopping.
When is the next holiday? Big holiday?
That would be Easter, I think.
Yeah, something tells me there is something much closer.
Valentine's Day.
Ugh. Yep.
Crap.
Yep. That's not a guarantee. I don't know, but I'm just saying about the holiday.
Yeah.
There's one I remember much closer than Easter.
A good question. Will premium members get more benefits in the future?
Yes, every time we're trying to expand their benefits with each new add-on, same as with competitions. You remember, guys, that you have to be a premium to have competitions buying higher than 100 silver. Only premium members can do that, from 100 to 300, and only premium members can use passwords. So yes, we will be expanding benefits for premium members.
And let's see, 2 more questions, guys. First up, why do 3 more questions? Why do the fishing on net and the bait fish keep deteriorating when we're offline?
It is a part of the game. Fish stays in the game even if you leave the game. It does deteriorate, but please don't forget you can still use that fish as bait. For some species will actually prefer rotten fish as bait than live bait.
Sportfish, I can answer the question for you, buddy. Yes, we will have different languages available. Oh, you specifically want asking about different channels to talk in different languages on the lake chat. That I do not know. Jean, will we add different channels to chat in different languages while on lakes?
To answer that question, I have to say that we, in the future, we're working towards an idea of having one server for every player everywhere, and give a player a choice of what he wants to see, who he wants to see, how he wants to talk, where he wants to talk. But this is something we're working on. It's not there yet, so I won't be able to answer for sure some of the questions, such as which channel can I talk on, or something like that with chat. But we are working in that direction, to give a player more options of for him to choose on his own what he wants, but for players to be at the same location at the same time, server wise.
MQ, like we already said at the beginning of this impromptu Q&A, we're still looking at the travel costs at the end of the day. In the future, we want to be rid of it totally. For now, we have to work with systems that we have. We will be adding different systems and then remove the travel fees completely. So then there's no need more for having lower travel costs when you're premium. River, I will answer your question in a second. When will we be able to change the language in a game? I want to play on the English server, but play the game with Russian language.
Asterisk, once again, that option probably will be available when we switch from the three different regions to having just only one, and not to divide. As of right now, you're not only playing a different language. You, if you remember, you had to install different launcher and the game when you were switching to English. If I'm not mistaken, Asterisk is actually a Russian-speaking player playing on English servers.
I believe so, yes. Okay, Jean, I'm letting you off too, buddy. I know you still got a lot of stuff to do. I'll take any other questions from now on, guys. Give me a second to say goodbye to Jean, and after that, guys, give me a moment to end this competition that we're still looking at. Draw 3 winners, then we'll move on. Alright, Jean, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, and have fun. Bye.
And bye-bye.